ILP seminars, context is key.
Correct.
Everything. Right. Context is key.
Yeah. I want to be here, free, naked, right? And you won't see anything below here. Kalpesh, thank you. And just for rationale's sake, I would be putting on clothes in my world to look good, to look appropriate, like all of that. So bear with it again. I'm not attached. I'm just saying. No, but I'm attached. I'm attached.
No.
Just a moment. Let's this is, look, we're co-creating this. So top off or top on, Kalps? What do you reckon? Get involved.
Hang on. I want to just say a contextual piece.
Go on.
I obviously thought about that, right? And I'm like, okay, be appropriate, put some clothes on, like, and then I thought, like, I dropped into it, how much of that is looking good and wanting to do that, and how much it is, hey, I'm just going to show up as my authentic being. And then there'll be people who will like it, not like it. But same if I had clothes on, people have opinion about my beard and so on and so forth. So that's my pitch. If the consensus is go put your clothes on, then I will, and that's fine.
I would go with put your clothes on. It's a bit like saying, look, because I love walking around naked. I had this conversation with my mum a few days ago. And I was saying,
why are you standing there naked?
Exactly. And we were talking about that, right? And she was saying it's really hot in England. And I said, well, take your clothes off and sleep without your clothes. And for her, that's like, what are you talking about? And she laughs because I do that. I only sleep naked. I've never not slept naked, right? I don't know the way. In fact, I only put on boxer shorts.
I'll meet you halfway. I'll put a dressing gown on.
So yeah, again, I love that as well. But yeah, I get that me walking around with my willy hanging out in front of Mum and Sue might not make them.
I get that. I mean, I haven't got that far.
Well, I mean, look, I think it's up to us, Si. We do what we fucking want, mate. We're under no agreements. It's us. We're making it up as we go along. Do what you want. Do what you want. Let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, exactly. Look, thank you.
Before we've even got 100, no, I'm finished. Before we've even got 100 people on the group, let's get rid of everyone, yeah? Because you're naked. So you can be naked. Go on, Mr. Pie, eat your cake, and we'll do all the press-ups.
Right. There was lots of mixed metaphors going on there. But I think I got the gist. Okay,
no, listen, no, seriously, do whatever you want, mate. I think, you know what? Knock yourself out.
Be free.
Yeah, and people can comment. I'd love to know what people.
They could go. You know what they can do
about this already. It's perfect.
Yeah, what I don't want is that we lose viewers because you're sitting there with your bits and bobs hanging out.
Mate, but hold on, how do you know my bits and bobs aren't hanging out?
Like, look,
that's exactly. See,
like bits and bobs, right? I mean, I get it. Like, look, and here's my piece, right? All of the stuff, or like what I've learned, and this is. And
here we go. Hey! If that doesn't build the audience, site, I don't know what will. By the way, we've already started. This is podcast number 2. Welcome to LAL.
It should be LOL.
No, OMG. So I did a stand up the other night, and I said, "So what's blowjob in Turkish?" And the audience literally went. Do you know what blowjob in Turkish is?
Go on.
Saxophone.
What?
Wow.
It's that or oral sex. And I said, that's not Turkish. But
so now here's an interesting observation, right? So this is the conversation, right? Here's an interesting, I'm now observing. We've gone from naked
to sex. And that's a big deal, right?
It wasn't sex. It's language.
Yeah. Well, okay, let me just finish, right? So, because this is the piece about why I do naked, why it's so important to me is it's about dropping in, it's about authenticity and so on and so forth. Now, culturally, it's a big challenge for many cultures because nudity equals sex, right? And I'm not saying we've gone to sex, but like we've gone there, right? And I think all of us are conscious of who might be listening, and so on and so forth. So I no criticism about any of us. It's just an awareness piece to marry authenticity with wanting people to stay in the conversation. And I don't have an answer for that, but I just want to make that observation.
It's really, really easy. So nakedness has got nothing to do with sex, but obviously in your world, you think that it has. There's some kind of a collapse, but there's tribes everywhere that walk around naked in certain parts of the world where that's completely normal, right? So
Absolutely.
I don't think people relate to nakedness as sex. I think it's more a case of, as you said earlier, having a conformity, kind of a way that people live in agreement in society. So, like I said, I walk around half naked in my house all the time anyway, and I don't have an issue about it. And I'm convinced tons of people will be like that. But does that mean I'll walk down the street that way?
Sure.
I can imagine, I wouldn't have an issue with it, but I can definitely imagine people would be like, what the frick's going on with that bloke over there? You know what I mean?
But I think you nailed it in one word, Kalps, for me, and something that we got from the advanced course is agreement. What's the if you like the background context of agreement, what's socially acceptable? But don't you think the greatest things in life or in human evolution have been breaking those contexts and forwarding? And and that's happened.
Breaking meetings. So don't forget, naked's not new. Naked's how we started.
We started that way.
We broke naked to get where we are. Do you see? So it's like
we got backwards to go.
So for me, this is
always
great.
used to say in the ILP seminars, context is key.
Correct.
Everything.
Right.
Context is key.
Yeah, and this is and here's a distinction that these beautiful distinctions, like looking good, right? So for me, I'm constantly trying to challenge myself and say, oh, I want to do that. And I don't always get the balance right. I want to do that. That's in my self-expression. And to what extent is my looking good keeping me back?
You don't.
And then to your point, another distinction is, okay, and then what's appropriate and what's in context? And it's all just,
Do you hear that, Si?
You don't look good at all.
He said you don't look good.
Oh, I missed it.
I think you mean looking bad.
What did I say?
You said he's got concern for looking good, but maybe it's because you're worried about looking bad.
Okay. Like wanting to look good. Yeah, okay, fine. All right. Moving on.
I love there's a line that was it the best speech ever? It's the Werner Erhard speech, but you're worried about what they think. What did you think they were going to think horrible things about you? What did you think they were going to think? I just assume. I don't really overly care what people think. I mean, and I don't mean that in a belligerent, I'll do what I want. I don't care if that offends anyone. I'm not out to offend, but I'm not operating in life wondering what will people think about me. I'm not really that concerned because really what I think they're thinking is irrelevant. If they try and say, hey, Erkan, what you did was this or that, and I go, oh, I know what they think now, and then I can address that or deal with it. But I think this idea of looking good or trying to impress, I don't think looking good is about what people think. I think it's about how you think people are going to perceive you. It's more about you than it is about anybody. But there's that whatever car you drive. I mean, yesterday we pulled up. It's a bit funny. It was in my partner's car, and it's very hot and very sunny here in North Cyprus. So a lot of paintwork peels off, and it's just the way it goes. So her car needs a respray, right? And we pulled up to have some fish to this fish restaurant, not a posh place, but there were all these posh cars outside. And we pulled up, and I thought, but I've got to tell everyone this isn't my car. And I just laughed at myself, because my car is that much better anyway. I think that's what I mean by looking good. It's like. This doesn't represent me really. This isn't my real car. Or people have that sticker on their car that says my other car's a Porsche. Whatever. Anyway, it's interesting because people do.
It's really interesting that you brought this up because I have this conversation with myself all the time, like all the time. And so I remember, and even as recently as now, to be honest,
Recently is now.
seriously, but I'm in network marketing, and network marketing is driven by looking good. So I remember, like, I couldn't give a crap. I used to drive around in this old Suzuki van with the number plate half hanging off because my brother had a grocery shop, and we used to use that for cash and carries and whatnot. And then if I'm going to my seminars, I'd go in the van.
I could hear the Only Fools and Horses soundtrack going through.
That. And I'd pull up, I'd have no issue, right? I'd be dressed in my suit because that's what the audience requires when I'm on stage. But I'd pull up in my little Suzuki van, go inside, do my job. And at some point, somebody noticed the car that I got out of because they would have arrived early as well. And at the end of the seminar, somebody actually came up to me and asked me, they went, if you're doing like all this great stuff, why are you driving in a like really old Suzuki van? For me, the two had nothing to do with each other. But for them, like the perception, and then in that space and context is key. They were like judging, like, hold on, is what you just said on stage.
Is he really that good?
Sorry?
Is he really that good? Does he know what he's talking about? Look at his car.
Yeah, all of that.
But wouldn't it be if you didn't turn up in a nice suit? That like because you're now
correct. So it wasn't congruent in their world, right? Like I've got the suit on, I've got like stunning suit on, I've got all the jewelry on, I've got the watch, and I've got all the bits and bobs. But I've just pulled up in a van, and I can't remember what it was at that time. But I think I can't remember. I'm going to make it up. But I didn't have access to my car at that time for whatever reason, so I'd use his van at that time. I didn't have my own car. My point is, people do judge. Like even so, I say it's relevant now because even now, I'm here in Dubai. I'm in shorts and t-shirt all the time because I'm in casual mode. So when I meet some leaders when they're visiting Dubai and I turn up in my flip-flops, I know there's a look in their face of disappointment, a little bit of like, have you like slipped down a slippery road somewhere?
You're going through hard times.
Yeah, are you all right? Is something wrong? But they're not saying it, but you can see it in their demeanor. And then when we go out and then they see my car, they get all excited.
oh wait, he's doing okay.
Yeah. And
I mean, really, it's so shallow, isn't it? Right?
For me, isn't it a shame that it takes that perception versus reality, that the perception is more important than the reality? And that, but that's, it's the construct of society, isn't it? Isn't that how the whole world is? Because perception versus reality.
Well, we've had decades of American soaps and films, and I mean, as much as we think we're not conditioned by these things, but we grew up with them. They're like the water we're swimming in. Like expectations. I remember once I had a business coach come to work with me, and his car was so bad, and I just thought, like,
we do it.
And the guy was a great. I don't know. I didn't ask the story. I got over it, But my reaction. I think that's the thing. You have a reaction, and then you kind of, if you're self-aware, you've had a reaction. If you're not, they just have a shit car. And you think, are they any good at coaching?
Well, look, you just reminded me, and we do it really early. I remember when I was in my economics classes, and I'd look at my economics teacher's shoes, really worn out shoes, and I'd be like, you're teaching me about a subject that you don't represent very in my head, right? You don't represent that subject very well. Like if you know all this stuff about how the economies of the world work, why haven't you applied anything?
Do you know how I justify it sometimes? I think about because I'm not in the world of getting loads of material wealth. That's just not where I'm at. And I just think to myself, when I see someone who's got like I think, well, at least I didn't take a vaccine. I know about 9/11. Hey, do you know what? I know what a racket is. So it turns, I invested in knowledge. I didn't invest. Sorry, Si, do you want to get in on this conversation at some point?
No, I'll muscle in, like, because if I don't, nothing's gonna happen. I'll be that extra, in
That's why you need to be naked. Maybe get a bit more.
Yeah, take your top off. Let's have a look at you.
I'm a little bit cold. It's just why I got my little.
You are such a dweeb, man.
But like, Kalpesh, you remember this, right? In South Africa, we have something called Black Economic Empowerment, which is a great idea, to bring in, previously currently disadvantaged black people, people of color, to redress the balance of what happened in South Africa, because the whites have everything and all that stuff. And like in this conversation, like I'm the token white, for the men of color. Like, okay, what do you want to say, Sai? Like, have you got anything to say? Okay. Anyway, Cubs, as I was saying, let's go.
Anyway, go back.
Make you feel more comfortable, Erkan falls into white as well. But he'll tell you otherwise. He thinks he falls into Pakistani or something. That's his Rakian story. But in the context of the world, Cyprus falls into white and not black. But
okay, so I want to just let me just say my story, right? So Erkan and you've been great, but you really have went through a very challenging time a couple of months ago. Just wonderful friend, great coach, right? And so I was in my head because I'm going to go see this client. He's a wealthy client, and I have a shitty car, right? It's a beautiful car. Like, it's a really, really simple, like, bottom of the range, fucking 2008 Hyundai, beautiful, mechanical, economical on fuel. I don't, and I'm sitting with this at the moment, like, okay, maybe it's time to get something a little more comfortable. Okay, fine. So, so I'm going to see this client. Normally he comes to my house, or we meet halfway, and he says, can I go to his house? Here's my address. So I look at his house on Google Maps. It's a fucking castle, right? So now I'm like, oh man, my looking good. It's like, oh God, what am I gonna do? I'm scheming now, right? So I'm gonna I'll catch an Uber, or I'll park around the corner, go to the local coffee shop, and I'll walk to his house and all this stuff. And his house is basically in the middle of a suburban area. Like, I got the only thing I can really do, and I'm catching my inauthenticity, like, just fucking show up, bro. Like, and so I said to Erkan, what do I do? And Erkan said, basically, just fucking own it. Just own it. It is what it is, So I go to see him, and we're having this conversation. And when I go up the stairs, I'm like, this isn't quite what the Google Maps kind of thing. It wasn't a castle. Like, it turns out he's living in a rented house. It's a bit ramshackle. Like, and then I tell him the story, and I say, like, this is what happened, like a car and whatever. And he laughs his head off. He says, I had exactly the same thing when I went to see some billionaire, impressive, like, financial guy, and I turn up in my Ford Bucky or whatever he had, and just to the point. It's just so funny, right? But the point is having that distinction, of I'm in looking good here, and now what? And then just stepping forward.
Yeah, again, it's the awareness of it, isn't it? That gives you power, because everyone's doing it. It's not like, oh my God, there's something wrong with you that your brain is working that way. No, that's how everybody's brain works. The minute you have some awareness around it, you can have some fun with it and decide to do other things with it. So that's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah. One of my favorite things, one of the magical distinctions from Lamont was the unreasonable request. I use that often with great effect, and it is the best fun, And one of the things, I haven't been successful in it, but when I've seen there've been a couple of Ferraris in garages, and I've just said, hey man, can I come for a ride, or can I have a drive, And one of them had 16 Ferraris. I mean, what you do with 16 Ferraris, I have absolutely no idea. But anyway, that was his gig. And he said, no, it'd be great. And I really knew, like, I said, we'll do a trade, right? And I knew we would have a great conversation. Like, what's all that Ferrari mess about? Well, how's your relationship with your kids? And both of them said, yeah, no, give me your number. And I never heard from them again.
Yeah.
But it's the fun is asking, right?
It's interesting. I had a post up just a couple of days ago, that put literally 2 days ago, about what did it say? The older I get, the less things I want. Now, I don't know how old those guys were, but one is, there is the conversation of things, and I've certainly been there and spent a lot of my time doing that stuff, and it's great. But what's interesting is that over the years, and more so now than ever, like, I got really lucky and transformed my financial scenario a few years ago. And all the things that you think you want, it's like, nah, not really. And I'm like, my family laughs at me because I can't even bring myself to go into the shops even anymore. It feels so distant from who I am. Like, I walk past the big brand shops and look at them, and people are all excited. And I'm like, it's such a weight for me to even think about walking into those shops and entertaining them with their look at us, give us 20 grand for a bag, or give us 200 grand for a watch, and I'm sitting there going, it's really like an interesting world that we've created, isn't it? It's really interesting.
I was, yeah, absolutely. I was at the airport the other day, fetching my daughter, and I just love having conversations with people, particularly, staff, people who baristas and cleaners. Like, it's just people are so interesting, And again, as I'm speaking, I'm just reflecting on how so much of who I am is from Landmark, and as we've said on the group recently, like, I think it was David who said, like, but we have to do it, right? I mean, you can sit in a Landmark thing, get all the distinctions in the world, and then do nothing, right? And I said to this woman, I said, are you staying? Are you going? Or are you leaving? Like, she said, no, I stay here. I work. What do you do? I work in the tax-free department, in the tax claimback department. I said, well, you must have some interesting stories. She said, yeah, there's a guy who comes in every 3 months and buys a Rolex, and he spends around 5 million rand, which is whatever. It's a lot of money. And I thought, wow, like, what's that about? What's the story behind that, right? I mean, why come to South Africa to buy a Rolex? I mean, that's a question, right? And then so
so there's loads of answers to that. Yeah.
Well, over to you. Like, what?
A lot of people with cash, let's say, that's maybe acquired not through the usual passages, will want to legitimize it. Let's just put it that way. So it's like art. It's the oldest art and diamonds. It's the oldest money movement trick in the book, as they say. It's not about the art or the diamonds or the Rolex. It's about an easy way to take 5 million rands over a border and nobody even blinks. It's that rather than
carrying it in a wad.
5 million rand on
a. So I've got a question for all three of us. Just thinking about how we can stir up. When was the last time you participated in any Landmark work? Do you remember what it was the last thing you did?
Yeah, mine would have been.
Kalps, I'm losing you. I think I'm getting a bit of a. Hello, can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Si?
I can hear you fine.
It might be the Cypriot broadband connection.
Could be. It says my internet is unstable, but it's back. We're back. So the question was, so I'll get this in the edit. The question was,
and there's this whole who are you being right now?
Was that the seminar you was on?
That's affecting your income?
I'm living in North Cyprus. I think we kind of covered that. The fact it's working, I'm really chuffed. Right now, I'm being grateful. So yeah, what was the last seminar, workshop, or program you participated in? Do you remember?
I don't remember the last one, but I remember once I left Landmark as an introduction leader, which was around 2000-ish, 2001 maybe. When I left, it would have been 2001 because I went traveling around the world. So once I left, I revisited after about a year. I did the little mini series that they do, little mini seminars. So there was like communication.
Oh, you mean like CAP and CPP, those like weekenders or?
They had those little 12-week just independent seminars, the money seminar.
Oh, you mean the seminars, the 10-session seminars?
Yeah, those 10-session things. So I did a few of those over a few years. But yes, I'll be honest, as brilliant as they were, and they are, it's because who I was being in those conversations. It's a little bit like if you've done a master's in a subject, and then you go back to the GCSE classroom. It felt a little bit like, but I was doing it to be engaged and participative and just trying to do something without going all in, because I wasn't going to go all in. It was more that.
So you weren't sitting there going, I don't think you should have said it that way. You could have made it.
I was doing a lot of that, actually.
I don't think that's exactly what you meant. No, yeah.
So I was just in the context. The context that was staying engaged.
It's just staying in the conversation and also meeting women, right?
And that, of course, come on, that was the priority.
I'm going to do sex and intimacy.
Yeah, I did that as well.
You did, or did it do you?
Way. I've been doing that long before the seminar came around.
I'll tell you something come to mind while I was talking. It's like when I left the seminar leader program, it was I think it was 03, and I went out in flames. I won't go into the details, but I went out in flames. And then I went back and redid the curriculum, did the whole lot again. And then I think I did the commitment seminar. And during the commitment seminar, it was I was kind of like looking, what do I want to do in my life? What do I want to do work? Having those questions. And I thought, you know what? I've always wanted to do some stand-up. And this is something that one of the things that's been really interesting, Caps, is how much mine and Si's lives are paralleled, right? We both had shitty cars. No, I'm joking, right? So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go and do some and I went and joined. I went and did registered myself into the what's it called? The London School of Comedy. I probably got it wrong. I'm sure it's the London School of Comedy, and I went and did a 6-week program, and it culminated in a one-night event, and it was like such an amazing experience. And like some of the things that I found by being in the programs or being in the seminars, it opened up other avenues in my life that I may or may not have gone to do some stand-up, but it's because of that I did do it. And I could see the lineage. And there was a question that I asked that actually Harinder addressed as well. Where would your life be now had you not done the Landmark Forum? I mean, it's so hard to trace back. And like, I think David answered, he said, I'd be dead by now, probably, but it's interesting to see, like, like would be, I mean, we can speculate, but I can see clear line between doing that commitment seminar, registering on the comedy program, and doing that, and then I've done 5 gigs here in Cyprus since, which again probably wouldn't have happened. So do you kind of see clear outcomes from the work you did?
Yes, I mean, I think it would be hard not to. Anyone that takes the work on and decides to apply it, then of course you can straight away see those dots connecting. And at the same time, like you briefly kind of went there, that it's not necessarily because of it, but
that's the way
it triggered it. Maybe whether it was earlier, maybe if you hadn't done that, it would have happened later. Who knows? But there was a trigger point. So certainly, Landmark, that 5-year journey with Landmark, absolutely would have triggered tons of moments of new direction, new ideas, new action
that have got us to where we are now, right?
Sure, everything we do impacts where we are. So just by the nature of that simple understanding, it's impacted everything anyway. And it doesn't mean any of what you've got today would have happened without it. Because
I've got another question. I've interrupted you. Sorry, apologies. But what are you still dealing with that you've never cracked? There must be something. You cracked the money.
You've
clearly cracked your fashion sense. Yesterday he's wearing an orange, black, orange is the new black outfit. But seriously, what are you still not cracking?
What am I still not cracking? Well, I am proud to say that health is something I've never paid attention to my whole life. I've never been unhealthy, but I've never put health as a priority. So I'm really lucky that I live in a vegetarian home. And so that's allowed me to, an alcohol-free home, that's allowed me to have a pretty healthy default setting, if you like. But I've never been I don't go to the gym. I can't say that anymore. I do now every day. But my whole life, until about a couple of years ago, the gym was the last place you'd find Kalpesh Patel. It's mundane, it's boring, it's mind-numbing, it's sticky. It's hot, yeah. and even like other people come out of the gym and go, oh, wow, I feel amazing. I'm ready for the day. And let's do it. I'm sitting looking and going, I feel freaking knackered. I need a nap. Like literally,
I think because you left it too late.
right? So throughout my entire life, anytime I've done the odd session here and there, I've not been inspired. I've not come out pumped. I've not come out extra energized. It's the opposite. I get drained. And so what I get out of being an entrepreneur, being creative, getting stuff done in that world gives me that like excitement, pump, energy, the everything that they seem to be getting out of the gym. I've just never got it out of the gym. But what I will say is that the last year and a half, 2 years, I have really committed myself to the gym out of not liking it, but doing it because I'm nearly 57 and it's a smart thing to do. If I've got time on my hands, why not? I had a breakthrough about maybe a month or two ago where something shifted. And I remember I didn't go to the gym one of the days. And it felt like there was a massive piece of my day that was missing for me. And what I realized was that although I don't like, or my relationship to the gym until now has been negative, I get a lot from it now because it's a bit of me time. So what I'm doing in the gym is I'm not sitting there trying to be a beast mode, machine and build muscles in places that I don't have muscles. And I'm not doing all of that. I'm actually just going in and nurturing myself. So I'm doing like some yoga.
Nice reframe.
Yeah, I'm doing yoga stretches. I'm doing a bit of Tai Chi. I'm hanging on the bar. I'm doing stuff that is more about just keeping me well and healthy and not getting somewhere. It's more about maintaining versus building. And I'm loving it. So sometimes I'm going twice a day. I go in the morning every day and often in the evening, and then I do a sauna and a steam. So I'm like, all of that's attached into the gym. I've got this beautiful relationship to the gym now, and it's in the building down, where I live. It's downstairs. It's stunning. I love it. So yeah, I've taken care of it. Yeah, which I haven't.
Nice. I mean, the question that you asked there, again, just to respond, the last, and thanks for that, Cobbs. I laugh because I had this picture of you in the gym, because when I think of the gym, I think of pumping iron, right? Like, and it can be anything, right? I mean, I love your description of it, but I had this picture of you kind of doing these Tai Chi movements.
In his yoga pants.
We're getting jealous. I can see they're sweating, doing all that. Then they're looking, going, flipping hell, he's having a good time over there.
So I want to, I'm curious as well for you, Cubs. Like, I mean, you've always struck me as a man who has, like got his shit together, or life is working, or whatever. But I think, Erkan's question around what's still what grapple with. And I'm not like looking for something's wrong. I am interested.
It's a really tough question to answer because I guess because I've lived my life self-aware, even before Landmark, like self-awareness has always been programmed into my kind of way of being. That's just how I was raised. Both me and my brother are super blessed that we were raised like that. Because there's self-awareness there, fine-tuning, improving, being a better person was always there anyway. Landmark, yes, Landmark added tools, but it also gave distinctions that already existed, but not as distinctions, if that makes sense. So I'll give an example. Like before, people always say, Camps, whatever you do, you just thrive in it, right? Like it's a thing. Like
because you're lucky.
Right, all of that, right? And I'll take it. I'll be like, yeah, I am. I'm freaking lucky. I am lucky. Like, I don't know what it is that if I decide to do something, it works out most of the time. I don't know what that is until I did Landmark. And then I got the conversation of distinctions. And it wasn't just Landmark. This is Landmark context conversation. But until I got into personal development. And I realized there was a language and a science to what I was doing previous to that. My whole life by accident. So I was living accidentally but I was living successfully by accident.
Very good.
And then suddenly I was like, oh, so that's what I was doing. Oh, now I can see why that works. And suddenly it went away from luck. And there's always an element of luck in everything. I truly believe that. But it went away from less luck and more science. And I was like, freaking hell. And that's where the passion of, oh, I can teach this to others. Because before having any kind of access to that knowledge or information, I was helpless. I was like, yeah, I'm lucky and there's nothing I can do to help you be as lucky as I am. Like, you're where you are and you're you and I'm me. So the whole thing of how can I help somebody move along and improve the quality of their relationships or their their mindset, their finances, whatever it might be. I never had access to any of that. So it's not about making a difference. It was about me just doing me. And then after the distinctions, it's like flipping out. Why wasn't I taught this at school? Like, what the hell happened there? I spent 20 years learning nothing compared to what I've learned here in a couple of months. Was the mind-blowing experience. And then the second thing was, right, I'm spending the rest of my life giving this away. Like, that's it. I'm on a mission. Now that I know there's a strategy, if you like, or a science, a process, a system, or multiple systems, all I'm going to be doing is going out there and sharing this amazing knowledge that's been hidden from me for the best part of my life as a science.
Yeah.
So when you
Thanks.
I'm always working on me, and I'm mega blessed. You know, I've all of the major pillars of my life are freaking off the chain insane. Amazing family, beautiful relationship, a stunning environment that I live in. Like, just, it's like, and I'm working on my health all the time. I'm now enjoying that. There's not a missing for me. There is an opening. I will say it like that. So one of the things was, okay, I'm kind of semi-retired, not doing much. What shall I do? And a couple of years ago, I took on building my own platform, which I've been toying around with, tinkering with and playing with for a couple of years. And it's come to a point where it was ready in December, just to let you guys know. I built a platform, a blockchain tech platform that was built ready for December. And again, I was in creation mode. I was in what next? What do I do? I've got a lot in me still. But they delivered the platform. They were like, here you go, here's the keys, Kalps, off you go. And something else opened up that wasn't there before. And it's like, do I really want to do this? Because if I start this, there's no turning back. And it's responsibility, it's every day. So I'm like, am I going from having been out of the rat race for a few years, am I throwing myself back into the rat race? Because now I'll become an owner of a business again. And I don't need to be. So I started questioning, I parked it, and it's been parked from December till now. And then, and then I had another breakthrough conversation. So again, it's always exploring and elevate myself. So a couple of weeks ago, I met somebody and they were like, Kalps, that platform you were building, why didn't you go live with it? And I told them, they said, yeah, but you're always saying that you want to make a difference. You realize what you've built there will make a massive difference in this industry and in the world. And it got me back in touch with why I started building the platform. So now I'm like, okay, do you know what? How can I start that without getting sucked back into the rat race? So I'm looking at how that's going to manifest itself and show up in the world, right? Like, okay, so it is a phenomenal tech and I'm committed to doing something. It's just not committed to do it in the way that I relate to doing stuff in the past, which is doing. So how can I be more and cause that going live without getting sucked into it? So I'm just looking at, okay, I wonder what that looks like. And because I'm just going to be open to what it looks like, I'm sure, and things are already showing up, people are showing up, conversations are showing up. So, it's like that. It's living ongoingly in that open to what's next mode.
Another adventure's opening up. But I remember you talking about that for a while, and then it was like it didn't launch like you was going to. So that's interesting. Anything else you want to discuss? We've been going 40 minutes.
Yeah, I have a question for each of us. When was the most recent time that you can consciously remember operating from one of the distinctions of Landmark, like getting off it or already always listening or something?
Every day.
And you think, I get that. Can you give that?
I don't even think of it as having to apply it because it happens in real time. It's kind of that, just I've wired my brain so much to be that way. Like I can't even relate to people that are still making people wrong and holding on to stuff or doing stuff like that have done the work for so long. It's like, why do you give yourself such a hard time?
So let me give some context. So imagine you're someone who's watching this is a very recent graduate, or even someone who's never done the forum, right? And you're like I get it, right? And you're like I don't know, I'm starting to learn golf, and now I'm in the presence of Gary Player or whoever it happens to be, right? And you're going, I don't know, I just swing the club, and it's like it's just what I do. I'm going, like what? Like, can you give me like so it's fine if you have something, you don't have something, maybe you do, can like just my invitation is just drop and see like where was something that I could just, because you're a teacher, right? Like what can you teach an audience person where they go, oh my God, like how the hell do you, that's amazing. Like I could do that. Like maybe.
Yeah. So an easy example, really easy. Dubai driving is a nightmare. You've got a population that's 85% international, and they all come to Dubai with their own way of driving, their own rules of driving, and what works, what doesn't work. It's an absolute mess. It's organized chaos. Let's put it that way. You've got 9-lane motorways with people driving at 100 miles an hour, and nobody really is coordinated with anyone else. So whereas I'll put on an indicator to change lanes, nobody else does. Whereas I put my hazards to say thank you to somebody, or a flash of light. There's no 99. So if somebody does it, it's because they're from England. So you spot them, and then nobody else is doing it, but they're doing whatever their version of their whatever they do, right? So it's really interesting learning experience. It's just scary to drive in Dubai. Not now, 5 years of doing it, but in the beginning. So I met a friend yesterday who's just moved to Dubai a couple of weeks ago, and he drove recently as well, and he was just sharing his experience. Same goes. He's from Australia. He goes, it's a nightmare driving here. I said, no, don't worry, it will get better. And what it is in the beginning, I'd get scared, I'd get annoyed, I'd get angry, I'd be like cursing, like, you like swear words in my mind to the people. Do you not realize you could have just killed us both? Like that kind of stuff. And in the beginning, because I'm used to English rules of driving and they don't work here, I'm like sitting there going, everyone's screwed. Then I noticed that I was getting like driving was becoming frustrating for me. And I was like, come on, Kalps, grow up here. Like, what are you doing? And there was a shift where I said, okay, rather than cussing the fact that there's 85% different ways of driving here, why don't I just drive like them, but with what I know? So I'm always going to be careful and responsible in all the things that I know. And when somebody does all of that, just know that it's part of what they're doing, like dance with it. So now when somebody decides to go across 6 lanes to get off at the exit, rather than trying to win and not let them do it, or I'll slow down and let them go past. Rather, when somebody's trying to get into a lane without indicating, before I'd be like, no, you've got no manners. I'm not letting you in. Only I'm suffering. Was now I just stop. Go on, in you get. I know what you're doing. In you get. You've just gone past all the traffic in that lane that I've been waiting in, just so you can in front of me at the last minutes to get off the exit. No problem. Come on, in you come. And it's suddenly driving's easy all of a sudden. Do you see? So
yeah. Great example. So mine to you guys was this. So this is the second call, right? So this is a landmark distinction call. Let's call it getting off it, right? So it's not even. It wasn't even. Let me just qualify. So we did. This is the second conversation we had. Erkan forgot to press the record button. He tells us afterwards, forgot to press the record button, right? And my instant in my mind was calling him a cunt, like
you did. You phoned me up.
and then just like that lasted such a short time, because in the moment I recognized that, okay, boss, have you ever done that, right? Like, of course I have, right? And then it just became light and easy, and then here we are, and this conversation is the one. This is the one. Because what we learned, what Erkan, beautiful Erkan, was the first one was like an interview, and we're not interviewing, we're having a conversation. And this has been joyful and blissful for me, just like, so, for me, like now, before Landmark, probably would have been like, Erkan's a dick and he's no longer a friend. Like, what's some stupid nonsense like that, right?
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
So,
how about you?
I want to invite you to have a breakthrough on this one, Si. because I'm listening to you, and in my world, it was a whole different experience. And I think there's something there. So when Erkan put that he didn't record, or after the call, we kind of carried on, and he said, "Oh, I didn't record it," or he was going to check. He said, "Look, let's get off and get back on the call." I said, "Why?" He goes, "I can check if it recorded." I said, "Look, if I either recorded or didn't record, it doesn't matter. If it recorded, great, and if it didn't, we have to do it again." So there was nothing to grapple with. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm just curious as to imagine if there wasn't a response other than just being present to, okay, that wasn't recorded. Because that's all that wasn't recorded. There was no Erkan is or whatever, and there's none of that. That doesn't exist. And we've been in the game long enough and aware enough to know that it doesn't exist. So I wonder why you would still want to hold on to whatever that little thing is that for me is not even in my awareness to do. Like it's just, I laughed when he actually confirmed it wasn't recorded in the group because I didn't record. I laughed. I was like, there you go. All right, when should we do the next one?
Yeah, but hold on, mate. You did go on to share it with everyone in the WhatsApp group.
I find it hilarious. But you see what I mean?
Now who's a cunt? I mean, sorry, CUNC. Right, listen. I want to say something. Going back to the question that you both answered, and I didn't get to answer about context. Right? No, not. It wasn't about context. You're asking what. So for me, context is big part of my play, right? And we were at home yesterday. It was quite just starting to get hot here, and just felt a bit dopey. And we hadn't cooked anything. We didn't get anything out of the freezer, and we think, what should we do? So we decided to go to this fish restaurant, which I mentioned earlier, right? Get there, it's got a lovely fish counter, and they're cooking food. You can smell the fish. So they'll cook it for you, can buy it fresh and go, right? And I ordered a fish and chips. I know. I'm in Cyprus, but I haven't had one for ages. I thought I'll have a fish and chips, see what it's like. Wasn't bad because I don't expect too much here, right? So one of the contexts is here is don't expect too much. Don't expect too much, because then if it's okay, you'll be happy, right?
Wow.
Right? No, honestly. So because I cook as well, right? So I'm by other people's
You're a very
accounts,
good cook.
I'm a very good cook, right? And I love cooking, and I'm cooking with more and more ingredients from the garden. I'm very fussy about what I cook. So, I don't expect the standards here to be, because they're not. It's not Dubai, right? So it was okay. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Fine, no complaints. And then I said to Hilly, I need to go to the toilet, right? And she was going to the toilet. She come back. She goes, I couldn't go there, and came back out. I goes, oh, stupid woman, right? Whatever, right? Authenticity, right? So I go to the toilet, and there's stairs going down, and they're like marine stairs. They're metal stairs, and they're rusty and they're dirty. And I know I'm kind of getting why she didn't want to go down those stairs. And I go down the stairs. There's one door there, and one door here, nothing else. And it's kind of basement. And it doesn't say men's, women's, nothing. There's no. I open the door. The toilet is really dirty, and the lock on the door is broken, so you can't even lock the door in case someone else wants to come in and find you there with you, whatever. So I go toilet. I wash my hands. I get a bit of paper, and I get out of there. And I come back upstairs. I thought, do you know what? I just said to her, "Come on, let's get out of here. I've got to get out of here." Right. And I thought to myself, I've got to get out of here. And we got out, and I'm like, what's going on in this business? I'm a little bit in make wrong, because it wasn't bad. The food was okay. The counter presentation was, I was going to do a video. I was going to do a little video of today's adventure. Look at all this fish, And I come out, and I couldn't wait to get out of there. And I'm thinking, there's a story of the two shoe manufacturers in England send their representative to Africa. And one phones back and says, there's no market here. No one's got any shoes. And the other goes, the market's wide open. Nobody's got any shoes, right? And I'm looking at North Cyprus. I know I've had this conversation with you both separately, but let's do it collectively. It's like there's so much value that our training and our dedication and the hard work we've put into developing ourselves, our abilities, there's so much we could do on this island. There's a divided island. There's generational trauma. People do the very minimum. I call it the corner cutting capital of the world. They cut corners. They don't indicate. You'll drive along the road, Calps. Go back to your story. They drive along the road. The cars going like this, and you go past, and he's like. And I'm like, what have you got to do to raise, who do I have to be? As Benjamin Zander says in one of his talks, in the Art of Possibility, who do I have to be to see their eyes shining? Like who do I? And I'm like, I'm not coming up with much. Like I'm still. There's a desire to make a difference, and I was accused the other day of we're doing this to make money and promote ourselves, and of course, if someone's interested in working with me, get in touch, But as a marketing strategy, it's probably not the best one, Right?
I don't know, actually. I don't know.
No, look, listen. Like I said, we're not on a mission. We're doing it for the hell of it.
You're on a mission, man.
But I do want to do something here in North Cyprus. I think it's a small enough island. It's a divided island. And, it's generational trauma. We're still unrecognised here. People, in my perception, don't take pride in what they do in the way that, like keep the toilet clean, make the restaurant amazing. Everything that I see is the way it's done, not everything, but a lot of things here could be done so much better, and it wouldn't take a lot more effort, is what I'm saying. And that's the context that I've been present to and observing, and in myself. When you could have done the click like that and you left it as it was, or we all do little bits of, I even straighten the towels when I leave the toilet, and like
good idea for you.
You got to look at yourself first, obviously. But I am looking at the world.
Okay, I've got an idea for you.
Go on. Yeah, and you were here recently, so you kind of probably get a flavour for it.
Yeah, and I get it. I mean, Kalps, we went out to dinner. Erki is super proud of its heritage and Cyprus. He really wanted to show me a good time. He was really disappointed when things weren't. And we went out for a meal, and they basically just butchered the fish. It was how much was it? 50 quid or something like that?
It was like £45 fish dinner that we had Wednesdays, and then it came out burnt. And I'm like, you're a fish restaurant, and you're giving me burnt fish. It's like you do this all that. Help me. I'm asking for coaching here.
Okay, so here, I just want to jump in with the idea that came to me, right? Because our context is leadership transformation, and then part of that old world went to lead, I don't know, run seminars, change Cyprus. No, man, but why don't you just quite consciously start videoing? Go to that place with a fish bar, do this, and then go down the stairs and just say, hey, just say hashtag Cyprus, North Cyprus, we can do better, and start just do. I'm just putting it out there. I
hear you. I mean, so who just said to me when I was leaving? I said, I felt, and I'm not putting it on them personally, but I felt disgusted. I just wanted to get off. My skin was crawling. My reaction to it. Yeah. And she said, why don't you just go and tell them, and let them know?
Right. So that's the first thing. It's really great advice. I don't know about recording it and put it on social media. There's a lot of make wrong and maybe a lot of judgment, and maybe Erkan gets chucked in the back of a van and we don't hear from him again because he messed with the wrong dirty restaurant.
I hope it's not a Suzuki van with the number plate off.
But yeah, feedback is great for sure. And then I want to just give my kind of experience of those kind of scenarios, because we all have them. And it's of acceptance rather than expectation. There are restaurants in Cyprus that have got clean toilets and unburnt fish, and it might be 150 quid per head, right? And then there's places like that. And even here in Dubai, there are places like that. And even in England, and here's what I wanted to say. It's interesting, isn't it? There are places like that, like in England, there's a place called Lahore Kebab House, which is infamous, I should say. It's, the sweat's in the food, dirty fingernails are in the food, something would be dropped on the floor, it goes straight back in. It's a little working, and it's got the best food in all of London, and everyone goes there. It's always packed. You have to queue up to get in for decades. Do you know what I mean? Is that, and then you can go posh, and yeah, it's all clean and everything, and the food's like, yeah, it's just food, isn't it? So there's all of that. So expectation, you're going to a place where it is, love them for it. They're where they are. Do you know what? Find something that relieves you of the expectation and the acceptance of it. I think of India, when I think of what you're saying, you think that's bad. You've been to India, but they're the happiest people on the planet. The only frustrated one is the one that's making it wrong, judging it, got expectations from the country that they came from. But the people there are freaking doing somersaults over everything that you're judging and making wrong. And it's like, okay, see if you can just step into that world and be cool with the world the way it is, not just your world the way it is, but the world the way it is. And so that's like all the colors of the rainbow are in, aren't they? It's like, okay, cool. There are places that will not be the way that you would want them to be.
Well, I'm going to tell you now what I'm going to do. I'm not going to eat there again. No, but what I mean is like, no, like, listen, when I come out, I was like, you know what, I agree with what you're saying. I get it on a very
the feedback, and you're right. If that's true, you might go back again. If they don't, then you know that's one.
This is where I was with the feedback thing, right? Because going back to the restaurant that Sai talked about, they bought the burnt fish. I wasn't going to say anything because I'm not committed to it. I'm not committed to educating them on their business or complaining. I just won't go back. That's what, and I mean that seriously. There's other places, right? I'll find one. I've got a few places I go to, and every time I go, it's great, and I'm happy, right? But the point I'm making is, or the thing I'm kind of bringing up is like, on that night with the burnt fish, is so why don't you say something? And I'm like, now, well, if I say something, I've got to go the whole hog. I'm not just going to go, ooh, the fish is burnt. Ooh. You know, I'm not just it's not just a racket, like persistent or complaint without no commitment. I want to complain. I'm committed now, right? So we sit in the restaurant. And I go, okay, I thought, you know what? I'm going to do something about this one. So I brought it up, and they said, well, we'll give you something else. I said, well, I don't want anything else. My mouth now tastes of burnt fish, right? And I'm like, I don't know what I want, but I don't want something else because you've already made me bodge this up. And anyway, so long story short, the waiter come and went a couple of times. I took a picture of the fish. And I think the owner saw it, and he came over and he goes, it's on us. And I felt really bad. Like I said to Si afterwards, that's not what I wanted. I didn't want a free meal, right? But maybe they'll think about how they bring their product out and how they serve it. I don't know. I wasn't out to make a difference. I was just saying, this is like 45 quid for this. It's like, you know, like, and they said, it's on us, off you go, it's our bad, and we left. And I just felt like, should I go back the next day and say, look, that wasn't really what I wanted. It wasn't my intention to get a free meal, but also, this is what you're doing day in, day out. It's like, it's like whoever's like, okay, so one of the things that I would say to someone if I was coaching their business is that's definitely a communication from your staff. You know, if your staff are cooking burnt fish or burnt steaks or scratching the cars, there's something they're communicating to you about your relationship with them, because what they're doing now is they're damaging your business because they're showing they're disgruntled or whatever, right? But it's interesting, Cal. So I'll take that on. I mean, I have taken it on. I wouldn't be here for 5 years if I hadn't. I will take that on.
Because what we do, and it's easily done, is we go to the toilet and get upset, rightly so, because it's not how we would like, or if we had that place, we wouldn't have it like that. But for them, it's just not a priority, is it? Because it's not like they don't know.
No, exactly. This is why I thought, should I tell them? Should I say something? I thought, do you know what?
I always say feedback's always good, and it's up to them what they do with it, right? We can give them the feedback, say, listen, you know what? Stick a little lock on the door at least, and if you can, maybe tidy it up, give it a lick of paint, and
put a sign up, you know. But now you're consulting for free.
To them, isn't it? Yeah, it's up to them at the end of the day, because it's what they value. What do they value most? And a lot of people, they're probably not even there because they want to be a fish shop. It's probably just a means to an end, maybe inherited. But there should be a million reasons why they're there.
Absolutely.
All of that.
So I have a question. Like it's occurring for me right now. This is not occurring. This is like three guys having a chat on a Saturday morning. It feels like. It doesn't feel like a context of transformation, and I'm just putting that in there because I'm conscious of people watching this, and like, you know, this is like 10 minutes I've been talking
well
about.
for me, Si, for me, it's
what's
very
the context?
For me, very much so is because it's a microcosm, you know, and it's the things that we look at and we can't be with or we don't accept, and sometimes they're the things we go out to transform as well. You know, whether it's racism, whether it's driving styles, or, you know, there's something that, you know, from a non-judgmental workability point of view, it's like we talked about earlier on before we started the call. If you sit on the call naked, does that help the audience or does it get in the way? Does having dirty toilets improve your business, or does it make your business, damages your business, right? And I think first place to look is always ourselves, and then we look at the world, and I think that's the conversation we're having. One of context. So for me, like Kalpesh said, they could have inherited we're making up stories, but there could be all sorts of reasons why, because the food wasn't.
Why the world is the way it is.
It's the way, I guess that's the thing, isn't it? It's the way it is. So there's a level of acceptance, Si, I guess. For me, I can stop making it wrong. No, it's not even, it is wrong. It is, I'm making it wrong, but I'm just gutted that I just want to see them doing better. You know, like they had all the fish laid out. It looked beautiful. I was like, wow.
Done the hard work, right?
They've done the good bit. And it's like, pay someone 50 quid a month and clean the toilet and paint the stairs and put a sign up and fix the,
everything you're saying. And again, it's the same stuff, isn't it? It's how most people live their life. It's through judgment of their own perception of how things should be.
Absolutely.
But the world doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work that way.
There's 8 billion ways the world can be, and yours isn't the one.
No, it is the one. Exactly that, Caps. Exactly that. And I think there's something about accepting it the way it is.
Of all the noise. Like if I go into a restaurant and if it's not what I want, I walk out.
Mm.
And if I know that the food's good, but the tables are a little bit dirty, I sit down and get a tissue out, and I do that often. I go to little cheap restaurants just because I know the food's nice there, and it means I've got to pull out the tissue and wipe the table myself and dust the chair off and sit down and enjoy the food that they deliver, right? So whatever, I'm not sitting there trying to fix them. I'm like, okay, does it work for you or not? If it doesn't work for me, move on. And if it does, great, enjoy the experience.
Exactly that. So, Si, did we answer some question for graduates or not? I don't know.
It's not really, but it's cool. It's fun, right? You know,
maybe we didn't do it in a structured fashion, and I get that. Like yesterday's call was much more structured and kind of organized, so that was quite nice in its own right as well. But this one's a little bit different. I get that, but I think the value in this conversation, if anyone in the audience is really willing to get it, is way more than talking about distinctions and things that you can learn from a book. Because this call has been a lot more about real life and how you deal with it. Like for me, it's like that's the real stuff that people are dealing with, that they don't even realize they're dealing with it. Most people, even after doing all the work, will go into a restaurant and F and blind in their own head about the burnt fish and the dirty toilet. And it's like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing that for? What does that do for you? Nothing. Does nothing for you. Zero. Other than keep you occupied for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Great.
So creates enough drama. It's better than watching EastEnders, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly. So let's wrap it up. What I'd like to know is what's the nugget for each of us in this conversation, and then Kalps, I'm going to steal something from another podcast. I think it's called the High Performance Podcast, or one of those ones. And my question is, what is your question to the next person that we have a conversation with, not knowing who that is? So maybe just think about that, and let's do a checkout. So for me, I feel energetically like right up there. I feel very present. Like I've laughed a lot in this conversation, and I feel like, I'm very present to transformation, joy, regardless of circumstances. I've got my own stuff like we all do, and then it's like, to your point, Ken, all of us have said it, like what we have is a function of who we are being. And I'm left with, okay, in those areas, who am I being? So I'm very grateful for the conversation.
Brilliant. Kalps?
For me, the conversation will be beautiful. And I get what Si just said, that it's been casual as well. But I love that. That's me, right? So that suits me a lot more than a structured environment. But that's fine. Yesterday's call was equally beautiful and powerful for me. So I'm good with both, right? But that's kind of just how I am. I've loved this interaction. Thank you both for creating the space to allow whatever unfolded to unfold. And I think the big, if you like, for me, takeaway from this is the power of being present. And when you're not, there's all that noise that just doesn't need to be there. I'm just so blessed and infinitely grateful that I'm present way more than I used to be, and way more than most. And I don't take that for granted at all. So thank you for just identifying that even more.
Brilliant. Thank you. I just want to say that this idea of doing life after landmark has been in my mind for quite a while. And looking at the sharing on the WhatsApp group this last couple of days, has been really just touching and moving. The authenticity, the vulnerability, it's almost like people, and I don't want to make it like they needed this space. I don't mean to make it like, but it's like it's timely. It's timely for maybe senior graduates that have been out in their lives, in their world, well past programs and seminars and any accountability or whatever, to be able to get together and just chat and talk and laugh and share, and within the background context that we're all graduates of this work. And I just want to thank you both for being on the journey. Kalps, great to see you here. Did we have a question for the next guest?
What are you going to be responsible for the next transformation of your life?
Ooh. Hardcore. No messing. So on that note, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. Please share it with other graduates. Share it with people that haven't done Landmark Forum. As we said in our number one, is if you're interested in the Landmark Forum, we're not affiliated. We're not out to overpraise Landmark or put Landmark down. We're acknowledging and celebrating the work we've done and the gifts that it's given us as a homage to the work we've done, I'd say. Please share and like, and also come and find us on WhatsApp. Take care. Bye. And cuts. Lovely.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I loved it. That was lovely. What a great vibe.
Yeah. I'm a little bit left with it's just there as I'm looking at Sai's presence. You said that you really enjoyed it, but I don't know. I'm getting like there's still something maybe that you didn't enjoy.
Thanks, Carbs. Thanks for checking that.
Yeah, just like I get the words.
Thank you. So I recognize that. Yeah, and I didn't say it because I didn't want to perpetuate it, but for me, like money and scarcity, man, it's still not a code that I've cracked. And it's it's just kind of interesting. And I don't want to go, but I've noticed, so here I am, like the Saturday morning, and I've got something lined up later, and this is great. And then there's this kind of fuck, again, I'm here at the end of the month, and so I think maybe that's what you picked up, possibly.
Okay. I hear you, man.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful because everyone's dealing with their version of that, right? For you, it's money and scarcity right now. Not always that. It's that right now at this time of the month and whatever. But every day, everyone is dealing with feelings. Do you know what I mean? It's just, that's the bastard side of life, that it is that. It's just, it's feelings, isn't it? Feelings of how life is presenting itself.
Yeah, thanks, Cobbs. And I think also, again, I think it was whoever it was who said comparison is the death of joy. And I've been observing you two, and the filter is, you guys are cool, you're living the life, and you're like comparison thing, which is a hideous trap. And just noticing that and taking responsibility for it, and when you said, when I think I asked the question to you, particularly Kalps, like what are you dealing with, or maybe Erkan did, I didn't feel like I had something that was inspiring or useful. It's not like I'm, kind of like I got like, oh, Kalps is doing great. I wasn't left with like, fuck, he's human. He's dealing with that. Thank God there's a transformation there. You know what I mean? And I don't want to look for something's wrong, but I guess my straight question to you is, what is unresolved for you? What is grappling with you in that human mind? Because I think you've done a huge amount of work. You're in flow, blah 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 blah. And I'm not like, go on, tell me you got something wrong with your life, right? But as a human, what do you notice?
I used to feel guilty for not having anything wrong with my life. I did used to, because of that whole, I don't want to appear like arrogant or, look at me, all that. So I'd make stuff up often in my whole life. I've always done that to fit in and accommodate people's life. So I get that when you shine, it's not easy. It really isn't. But I don't do that anymore. I've got a fucking amazing life. I just have. And I'm not dealing with anything that I'm grappling with. I'm creating. I'm not grappling. I'm not fighting. I'm not struggling with, when I look at all of my life, there's nothing I'm sitting there going, like, there's nothing. Like, I'm loving every day of my life as it unfolds. I've got no agenda. I've got no expectation of it. I've got nothing that I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Nothing that's going to be happening. I'm just in this beautiful kind of being, Kalpesh. Like I said, phenomenal family relationships, my personal relationship with Sue.
Thank you. So I need to complete something with you.
Yeah.
Because I recognize, and I think this is probably what it is, and I've been making an assumption, and I need to check my assumption. So when the YouTube video was posted originally, I don't know if you were aware of it, but there was a guy who posted something about you. Were you aware of that?
Which YouTube video?
The one that Erkan and I put up about the graduate piece.
Okay.
The one of us on the campsite.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he said something along the lines of basically, you're a con merchant and you rip people off, something like that. So I just, I know nothing of the context, but obviously as a listener, I went, what's that? Like, so anything you want to say about that, or what is he referring to? Or like, I don't, I'm just.
Yeah, I'd like to say something about it because I know him, but there are people I don't know that will say stuff as well, but I actually know.
Sure.
So I did a network marketing deal about 5 years ago called Hyperverse. Invested, I think it was about $1,500 in the deal. And the deal went bad after 2.5 years. And funnily enough, I gave him his money back because he was posting something on my Facebook like that. And I said, I'd always go to source. So I just put a message on my wall. What's that all about? He lives down the road from me, by the way. So we had breakfast together. Like, for me, in my head, in my world, he was a friend. So it's personal. It's not somebody I don't know. So straight away I called him, what's that all about? And he goes, well, when Hyperverse went down, I lost $1,500. And I said, right, and are you holding me responsible for that? Now he's a landmark grad as well, right? So I'm speaking to him straight. So what? So you're holding me responsible for the money that you lost to a platform? And he goes, well, I only got in because of you. I said, well, look, just to be clear, I've been doing this for 30 years. Nobody gets in because of me. You might have been inspired to act because of my presentation, but ultimately, every presentation I do, I'll always pass the responsibility of the decision to the decision maker. We've got disclaimers on every presentation. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. Everything's there. I said, now, if you made a decision and the company went wrong, it wasn't me. Do you get that? I just wanted to get that clear with him. And he goes, yeah, but I still put the money in because of you. I said, it's fine. I'm blessed enough that I can give you your money back. And I did. I said, well, I'll wire the money. Give me your bank details. Your $1,500 is not the issue here. I said, between our friendship, I'm not letting $1,500 get in the way of our friendship. Wired the money to him. I said, I want you to look at who you're being here in terms of responsibility. And I even said to him, I said, you run a company. He has a company on the high street. He provides SEO services for retailers. I said to him, think of it like this. You walk into a shop, you knock on their door, and you sell them SEO. If they don't get a customer converting to the value of what you charge them, are you responsible? He said, no, because I don't promise them that. I said, right. I said, but you sold them on something. They have an expectation, right? I said, really? From the conversation you're having with me, you're saying I'm responsible because you didn't make money out of a decision that you made that was affected by somebody else, third party. I said, it's a nonsense conversation. I cleared it all with him. I'm really sorry, Kalps. You're right. I appreciate you giving me my money back. In my head, you didn't care, And I said, by the way, that $1,500, I would have made about 12 quid out of it as my commission because he came in near the end. I said, so I'm not giving you money that I've received from you. You gave the money to a company. I'm giving you this just to kind of not have a damaged friendship and because I can. So I'm surprised. I didn't know he wrote that, but it's interesting that he's obviously, even after that conversation, holding on to something 5 years later, 4 years later.
Well, I got in touch with him and I said, look, I'm going to delete the comment because this is, we've had a 10-minute video and your name come up once. Like, I think Sai said Kalpesh, like that. And I said, that's not the spirit of this. It's not something I want to entertain. So I'm going to delete it. And I said, if you've got an issue with Kalpesh, as we're doing this, there are issues between people. They've had, for whatever, but we're not here to mitigate.
No. And here's what I'll say about that as well, that he's one I knew and I could deal with directly. And that's just him. Like, I was surprised all these years later, he's still grappling with it. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm shocked that you just said that.
I didn't want to I didn't want to bring it up with you. I mean, if it had come up in conversation, I would have told you. But I just thought,
also, as a separate thing. So that's one specific thing you said. But here's what I'll say, and again, it's an invitation for you to just maybe see things differently. Right? Is somebody comes on a post and writes something, and you believe or hook onto that. You let that affect you more than what you know.
I assume you're trying to decide, yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
like, you've let a comment on a post affect you versus actually getting to the bottom of it, which you're doing now. But I don't know when this comment was made. I didn't even know you deleted it. I didn't know you called Erkan. I didn't know any of this stuff. So I'm oblivious to all of it, right? But one thing that I always do, whenever there's anyone that's got an issue, if I can, I'll get on the phone and speak to them.
Fair enough.
Pick this up. What's going on for you? Because it's not true, right? It's only a version of truth. What is the truth? He handed money over to a company. I had nothing to do with profiting from that money, and I still gave money out of my pocket just to comfort his insecurities and keep our relationship alive because I could. And still, he's doing that, and that then makes me go, "What a muppet for sending the money to him!" Like, what was that all about? Right? I'm valuing the relationship. I don't know what he's valuing. He's valuing, I want to be significant. I want to be heard, or whatever that is. I don't know what he's got going on in his world. But there'll be.
Yeah. So thank you. Yeah. Thanks. So I acknowledge, and it is something I have to watch ongoingly. Is just not speaking up, and in future, yes, I will. I'll get on the phone to you and say, "Hey, I heard this. What's up?"
100%. Always. That's in life. That's always the best way.
Of course.
Don't assume anything. Don't
Make your own judgment.
Yeah, just get to the bottom of it.
Cool.
Erkan did, which is great. Just listen. Well, Erkan didn't actually get to the bottom of it. Bless him. Probably trying to protect me as a mate, or I don't know, but because I didn't know.
No, but I had no commitment to the conversation. It was just to me. It was. It wasn't about you even. It's like we're trying to do something to bring graduates together, and he's going on about you being an international crook or something. I'm like, mate, that's not what we're doing. If you've got an issue with Cal, and I know from before, so I just deleted it, and I got in touch with him, and I said, look, I would delete if you pitched up and said something about him, I'd be like, mate, that's it's got nothing to do with what we're doing.
And so you guys know, I'll be calling him again today just to clear that up for him again, because I wasn't even oblivious that he had anything. He's still got charge of some kind, which he obviously is on to. But
Good.
All right. So listen, I might get this edited today. Thing is, as soon as this goes off, I kind of have an itch to get it done. I'm not going to. There's some good stuff in the bit where we said goodbye. Do you trust me to edit the nuggets out of it, or should I not?
Yeah, no, do
your thing, man.
Leave it to me. I'll do my thing, and then I'll just because there's some
there are some great bits, but I'm also still left with what Sai was saying, that maybe it was a bit not as beautiful as it was. Maybe it wasn't in the context of what you guys are trying to create, or maybe it was. I don't know. Like I said, I enjoy versions, but I do get what Sai was saying about maybe it wasn't what you guys are trying to set out to do, and I don't know how you guys have defined that, if you have defined it or what. But
we're making it up as we go along, man.
Well, I mean, I can tell you what it is for me. Right, I want it to be organic. I want it to be authentic. I want it to go where it goes. We're not here to go and racket is this and strong. So we're not doing landmark work. We're sharing our stories and our connection, and we're having fun. And I think there's something that I'm going to share this with you. And I might get a bit emotional, so bear with me, right? But I'm good. David Sherman.
Welcome.
Yeah, David Sherman is someone that I absolutely adore. I've always loved him. I care about him. He's been in my life since 97, and he's got 12 stents in his heart. Right? He's got a heart issue that's come up now. And for me, and you know the bit I did with, I don't know if you've watched it yet, Si, the Star Wars thing. You know, we're documenting and chronicling people that we really love and care about, first and foremost, right? You know, it's Kalpesh and it's David, and it's going to be people we know that we're going to interview. And later on, it'll be not interview, have conversations with, right? But I feel like when I wrote that bit about we're documenting the possibility of possibility itself, David was a hairdresser. He was in the living fast, looking good life with fuck all going on in his life. He did the forum and he's transformed and impacted hundreds, if not thousands, hundreds of thousands of people's lives. And I have a huge amount of respect for him. His contribution and his journey is now documented. Right? And we don't know how long we've got of David. You don't know how long I've got of Kalpesh or Si. And we're all getting on, you know, like you said, I'm 50, you're 57, so I'm 58. Next, you know, not long. We don't know, bud. Right? And these videos could be something that we look back and cherish. And I don't want to be over significant, but I also want to acknowledge what it means to me to be doing these conversations. So for me, this is about us, and we talk about what we want, how we want. We're landmark graduates, and there's a whole lot more to us than that. And I want to be able to look back at these. And in fact, today, your teaser video came up on my Facebook because it was a year ago when I had you on the business podcast, Bold. Yeah, and we were talking about. Can you not hear me?
No, who are you talking to, me or Si?
You, Calp. Sorry, because I'm pointing at you, and clearly you can't. So it was a year ago that we talked about the stag weekend and you fucking up the thing, go via Munich, and you know, and I just feel like these conversations are now out there in the world. Whoever enjoys it, maybe you know what, man, on a purely selfish level, I'll go back and listen to them now and again and think, God, that was I don't know how long you're going to be around. I don't know how long Si's going to be around. We're at an age now, we're 3 decades into our training. We've lived a life, we've got regrets, we've got all sorts of things, right? And I think the beauty of these conversations are exactly what we've done today. And there's no getting it right. There's no pleasing anyone. Did we enjoy it? I loved every second of it. Did we laugh? Did we swear? Did we share something that maybe Si's question was a little bit uncomfortable? Maybe not for you, Kalps. Maybe you've dealt with a lot of these things. Maybe we leave all this as it was and let people work it out for themselves. This is the beauty of what we're doing.
Yeah. I'm totally open to anything you decide. You guys have designed whatever you or are designing what you're doing, and I just wanted to be authentic to that. So,
and you are authentic to that, definitely. And I think you know what. Yeah. I'm going to go back. I'm going to use, if I've got your permission, both of you, I'll just edit it in the best way that I can to show the value of what the conversation brought forth.
Yeah. And I think it's really great. I only just noticed. I thought we'd stop recording, but I've noticed we're recording because this is powerful shit, man.
This is probably the best part of it.
Yeah, and I think we just speak for myself, just kind of dropped. You know, it's like I'm not. The performance piece is dropped. You know, performance is a fucker, right? And it's like just be, right? That's one of my continuing challenges. But you know, I think I trust you. I suspect Kalpesh does as well. Like, you know, bearing in mind the audience, you know, you go for it, man. You'll do a great job. And I think that this is I think also Ekin, I don't get 40 minutes, man. I mean, sometimes it'll be 40 minutes and it's good as a thing, but I think we need to allow for an hour and a half, right? And just, you know, I know, but it's so much, it's a conversation. It's like, you know, you're having the best time with 3 mates at a bar, and then midway through someone you're like, okay, I'm out of here. Like, I don't want that. I think there's such juice in the organic nature of this. And I think, you know, for me, I'm feeling like, okay, yeah, we can go on for another 3 hours, right? And I'm feeling like, oh, Okay. Yeah, this feels like a good place to end.
Okay.
So it's an organic. This is the number 2. It's perfect. We're learning as we go.
Thank you. And Si, I want to just acknowledge you shifted. I don't know whether you were aware of it and did it on purpose or not, but you shifted your energy in the last couple of minutes of your showing up here. So I feel okay now. Before I was a bit like, there was a little
The
bit
clubs
of
came. Thank you. I take responsibility for it, and absolutely, I dropped. And I have your question, your courage, your care to thank for that. Because if you hadn't asked that, and I'm much more in my body now. So thank you. It's a contribution.
Thank you.
Mwah.
All right, everyone. Well done. Great conversation. So that is the end of our conversation. Thank you for listening, watching. Thank you for being part of this. I think I'm going to leave it all raw. So I hope you appreciate and get the authenticity and the courage that we've had in this conversation to share. And none of us are perfect, as my daughter reminds me. None of us are perfect, but some of us are pretty cool.
Love it.
So on that note, we love you and bless you. And here's to number 3. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Cheers, guys.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording now. Oh, now we're recording. Are you gonna? Oh, that's what I did. I pressed the button last time, but I didn't put record to the computer. Got it.
Hey.
Right. Am I going to do what? I'm going to get.
Put some clothes on, bruv.
Why?
Be appropriate. This is a landmark context program.
Kalpesh, what do you say about that?
I didn't set it up, so it's between you guys, man. Don't bring me into your geopolitics.
He's a smart boy. He's smart. My name's
So
Paul. My name's Paul. This is between y'all. So